So given the fact that I, really only understood the problem of waste in the fashion industry about 3.5 years ago, I feel very new to it as well. And I think it's been important that we make it, the tone that we use, that even the branding that we have on the app, the free app, it's very accessible, inclusive to even the person who still does shop fast fashion, because to be honest, that's only what they can afford. So you shouldn't make people feel guilty that that's what they can afford. And I think it's really about giving them, that educational point, which we do by nudging them, like when you're renting something from another person, you'll see at the checkout the positive savings that you make from renting the item rather than buying new. So things like textile waste, water waste, carbon emissions. And I think that's been a great way to nudge people. But I would say first and foremost, people are using by rotation more for affordability. Because it's hard. Sustainability is, sustainable fashion is kind of a privilege. It's quite exclusive. It's like sustainable designers can be also at higher price points because they don't make that much quantity. That's the whole point, So things are more expensive. But for us, it's really about beating that fast fashion brand and telling people you can rent a designer piece for 10% of the retail price for a weekend. You can still go to your graduation, you can still go to your ball or your holiday or whatever, and still feel very much like you're part of this community that is making small efforts, while you might still be on Oxford Street, Yeah. So I think it's baby steps rather than expecting people to change completely overnight, black and white.
Yeah. And you raise a really good point about fast fashion, because obviously fast fashion gets a bit of a pummeling in the sustainable fashion space because it's making a lot of clothing and, it's lower cost clothing, and often the workers who create that clothing are absorbing the costs. Like, it isn't inexpensive, it's just there's a cost we don't see, right? But then it comes across as a judgment, because if that's what you can afford, then, that's what you can afford. So I think that's a call out on fashion brands to create better and to do better. It's not about shaming people that shop there all the time because that's what they can afford. Tati, I was curious about your community, because you have people that obviously follow your work and look up to you. Are they conversations you're having with them about sustainability? Like, I know you went to the Oscars for us and you looked incredible. Was there curiosity from your community? What's that like?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely seems that it's something that people are very much open to, which excites me. And that's always the first thing. The idea of not shaming people is always the first stance that I take. And also to make it smaller for them, because I do feel that a lot of people look at sustainability, look at this as this grandiose idea, this thing of like, well, I'm one person, what am I supposed to do? Like but like my little brother is here with me today. And through the last few days, I've been educating him, and he's like, "Well, it's really hard to find like sustainable." I was like, "It's not as hard as you think it is. Like even like H&M has a conscious line now that the places are trying, they are taking steps." And so I try to tell people it's the little things of get a refillable water bottle instead of buying plastic water bottles. Make yourself a recycling bin if you don't have one already in your house. It like Eshita said, it's baby steps, and that's what I try to push to people always, and diminish the just the stigma around it. And I find too that when people are hard, I've met someone who is a sustainability advocate that was like get angry with people when he would see a plastic bag come out or something like that. And I was like, that's counterintuitive. People want to help. People want to grow. It's about you doing that with them and having compassion for them while you do it.